Welcome back to the Blazing Concepts Training Center. Today, we're taking a look at TraceWorks 2.0. It's a big upgrade with many new features and a few surprises. Some came directly from our wonderful user community. Others are changes we've been planning for some time. Rug Hook Studio is also now part of TraceWorks instead of being a separate app. My avatar will take over from here. Your ideas, suggestions, reviews, and concerns are always welcome through our support site. I'll see you at the end.
Wow, I need one of those stools for my office. Thanks, Fred. I'm glad to be back with the all-new TraceWorks 2.0. There are so many new changes and additions I don't think we can cover all of them in this video, but we will give it a try. Let me highlight a few of them. First, Rug Hook Studio is now part of TraceWorks, one app instead of two. New features for stained glass, wood burning, puzzles. 6 user-defined color palettes of 12 colors each, and a number of special effects that can be added to images. We are going to start at the beginning and dive right in. Let's turn our attention to the screen. As you can see, it has a familiar look and feel, but it's not the same. Items like Quilt Collage that were part of the sidebar are now located across the top, along with some new options. The Rug Hook Studio app to simulate rug hooking is now simply named Rug Hooking. And as mentioned, we now have new options for stained glass, wood burning, puzzles, and special effects. Let's turn our attention to tracing. With basic settings, the trace is perfectly fine, however we can improve on it. By changing our setting and using the best model, we get more detail across the entire image. Note that we also always display the cost per image generation. In this case, the cost using the best model instead of the fast model increases the cost by 3 cents. And remember, this is a charge from Google, not from us. Switching now to Quilt Collage, we can open a new image or continue using the same image. Even though it is showing the last thing we've done, tracing, it will use the base image. You can select what color scheme you want to use or let the model decide. There are 6 user-defined color palettes of 12 colors each that can be defined in the Settings tab. Here's a quick look at the Settings tab where we can define our different color palettes. You can customize the names and easily select the colors you want to include. This gives you real control over what colors appear in your generated image. Once you have selected your options, you can click Generate Collage, and you will get a one-of-a-kind quilt collage. At this point, you can trace it to a pattern, generate it again with different options, or use a special effect. Note the version numbers at the top of the screen, 1 through 16. You can revert to a prior image at any time. Also, you could use one of the special effects to modify the image. Remember, all of our modules have very similar controls. Here I have applied the Henna special effect to give the image a very different look. As mentioned, Rug Hook Studio is now part of TraceWorks. The features are very similar, and it just makes sense that this is where it belongs. All of the same functions that were in Rug Hook Studio and more are here in rug hooking. For example, here is the side-by-side comparison. Let's turn our attention to stained glass. Here we have options for lead line width, fine, classic, or heavy, as well as glass style and frame. As in the other modules, you can select a color palette and use the text prompt windows to modify the photo, add additional instructions, or make minor changes and rerun the result. And like the other modules, you can use the simulation to trace your pattern. If you have Supersize Studio, you can print to any size using your regular desktop printer. This is especially helpful if you have a sublimation printer. This is a good time to look at blending. Every image you make lands in the version history above the preview, and the Blend Versions card lets you mix any 2 of them together. Pick an earlier version, then drag the slider to control how much of each image shows. You can watch the mix change live as you drag. Here I've blended my earlier rug hooking image with the stained glass design I just made. Maybe one version got the sky right, and the other got the subject right. Blending lets you keep the best of both instead of generating again and hoping. When you like what you see, click Keep this blend and it's saved as a brand new version. All your originals stay right there in the history. And since blending happens entirely on your computer, it's instant and completely free. No API call, no cost. Do you explore wood burning? Then this is your module. Like the other modules, the idea is to provide both a simulated image and a trace pattern. Here is another example that was provided by a member of our user community. TraceWorks 2 can also turn your photo into a jigsaw puzzle, and there are two ways to have it. The first is the classic look, the whole puzzle photographed as if it's assembled. You choose the piece count, anywhere from a kid-friendly 25 up to 2,000 for the truly patient, and the piece style, standard interlocking or wild and whimsical, free-form shapes like the old hand-cut wooden puzzles. Now, if you actually make puzzles, scroll saw, laser cutter, CNC, the second look is built for you. It's called Cuttable Overlay, and it works differently. The app has the AI draw just the cut pattern on its own, then lays those lines over your photo right on your computer. That means the lines cover the picture evenly, corner to corner, every time. And here's the part that matters at the workbench. Click Trace to Pattern and you get the cutting template instantly. Free, no generation. It isn't a copy or a redrawing of the lines. It's the same lines the app laid on your photo, so the template and the printed picture line up exactly. Print both at the same size, glue the picture to your board, cut along the template, and every piece matches. One honest note on the classic photographed look. The AI draws those cut lines freehand, so on a busy photo, a line can occasionally waver or fade. The Pro model does noticeably better, and generating again usually cleans it up. That's the trade for the prettier staged photo. When the lines have to be right, the cuttable overlay is the one. Its coverage is guaranteed, edge to edge. In the wild and whimsical style, a few piece lines may need a quick hand touch-up to fully close. It's still improving, but it was worth including. Here is the special effects page that lists out the effects that are available for quick and fun image modification. If you have ideas for other special effects, don't hesitate to let us know. And finally, the Settings tab, your units, metric or imperial, the color palettes we saw earlier, your API key, and a check for version updates, all in one place. Well, folks, that is the TraceWorks 2.0 overview. I hope you found it informative. And with that, I will turn it back over to Fred for a few closing remarks.
So that's TraceWorks 2, one app that turns your photos into the things you can actually make. A trace pattern, an art quilt, a hooked rug, a stained glass window, a wood burning, even a jigsaw puzzle. Everything you've seen is a single one-time purchase, no subscription. A sincere thank you to our beta testers. A lot of what you saw today is better because of their feedback. You can get TraceWorks 2 at traceworks.blazingconcepts.co. And the built-in user guide you access from the Help menu walks you through everything, including getting your API key set up the first time. And if you have an idea or something doesn't work the way you expect, use Send Feedback or a support request in the Help menu. A real person reads every note. That would be me. Our next series of videos will be deep dives into each of the modules. They're coming soon, so be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified when a new video is available. Now go out and create something.